Greetings from in front of the curtain. This is full time as we recap Champions League. Let us call it round of 16, leg 1. And this will last into next week as well. The first 4 of 8 round of 16 games under the belt. And we're here to discuss certainly some interesting things, some not so interesting things. So let's get to the most interesting thing, which is obviously the new sensation. His name, Erling Haaland. Haaland, I'm just basing this on what the announcers are saying. I like it. Alpha Inge Haaland's son, second-generation footballer. I love second-generation footballers. You know what I like better than second-generation footballers? Third-generation footballers. So we begin in Dortmund, Borussia Dortmund taking on Paris Saint-Germain. This is the story coming in really was PSG, can they advance to the quarters? Can they advance to the semis? Can they win it? I still think they can do pretty well in this competition, but they got a really bad draw against Borussia Dortmund. And Erling Haaland, who is a highlight reel, and at this point, the most exciting player in the world, and Dortmund are the most exciting team in the world. There's no argument on that latter point. In the Champions League, a lot of these teams, Liverpool are very mechanical, go about their way. They're fun to watch, but you know what you're getting. Every other team has too many speed bumps along the way to really take them face value. Dortmund's issue is defensively, but that trio, all teenagers, of Haaland and Jadon Sancho and Gio Reyna, USA baby, have made this team a must-watch every time they play. So we all watched, and we were marveled by the athleticism, the speed of Haaland. He scored 2 more goals. We want to break him in a little easier here, but if he keeps scoring goals, we have no choice. And that's where I want to start, because a lot of people will say, be patient with this trio of teenagers, Haaland, Sancho, and Reyna. Reyna coming off the bench, because they're just kids. Well, that's unacceptable at this point. Really, because Borussia Dortmund are banking on this trio to get them through this Champions League, to the semifinals, to a final, to win the whole thing. These 3 kids are going to be a big part whether they can do it. That ship has sailed with regards to, hey, we got to break in these kids easily, because Dortmund and Coach Favre is putting a lot of responsibility on their shoulders, and they're accepting it clearly because they're playing in big spots and excelling. By the way, I am still completely shocked that Erling Haaland ended up with Dortmund. All the big clubs out there, the big clubs in the Premier League, Liverpool, Manchester City, Chelsea, Arsenal, Tottenham Hotspur, Barcelona, Real Madrid, Bayern Munich. Yet he ended up here. And it seems like the perfect club for him where he can do no wrong. But that still is pretty remarkable. And Borussia Dortmund have played this so beautifully because the cup tie rule is gone. He went from Salzburg, and now he can excel at Dortmund. And this is really bad news for PSG. Dortmund have played the kids. Dortmund have beat the cup tie rule once it has changed. And here we are, 2-1, heading into the second leg. I still think Paris Saint-Germain will advance. And away goals are so huge. And that'll be a theme here as I go through these games. Liverpool, in their first leg at the Metropolitano against Atletico Madrid, did not get an away goal. They did not get an away shot on goal, in fact, which was the stunning development out of a game where Atletico scored early, and then Liverpool pushed with lots of possession, and were not able to score, let alone get a shot on goal. And that's a little disturbing if you're a Liverpool fan. So I posted something on Twitter, and I will stand by it. A lot of Liverpool fans, we won't name them, came at me and said, you are crazy for making this comment. But I compared last year where the Premier League was exceptional, and Liverpool now dominating the Premier League, finding it a little harder to stay unbeaten, but they are not unbeaten in the Champions League. They have really labored along the way. The argument is they labored last year before they got it right, but they are now the champions, and they have a big old target, and that changes things considerably. And the English teams are not performing like they did a year ago. And I don't think we're going to have an English flavor by the tournament's end. And I don't think Liverpool's going to be there at the end. I think they might get by Atletico, but didn't get that away goal. And now Atletico gets an away goal at Anfield this thing might be over the way they defend. And they have a manager who knows how to navigate this tournament. So certainly reasons for concern for Liverpool. Reasons to concern because outside of the Premier League, they have struggled. They have lost to Napoli in the group stages. They tied Napoli in the group stages. They struggled with Salzburg earlier on in the tournament, and now they have lost to Atletico Madrid. I think Liverpool are starting to feel the weight of being the best team in the world, and it's a heavy weight. Ask anyone. Ask Ronaldo, ask Messi, ask Real Madrid. It is hard to play that way. If they can come through here, I will offer my apologies. I'm just seeing the signs. I don't think it will be the case. When the draw came out and the group stages end, we said, where's the Cinderella story going to be? Where is Ajax from a year ago? A team that captures the imagination of this competition. We had only teams from the major leagues, Germany, Italy, England, Spain, and PSG, and a couple French teams too. Atalanta is not a big name, but this is the new mini Liverpool. It is a team that has great wide players, as we saw them throttle Valencia 4-1, and are really the one team out of the 8 teams we saw to have already essentially booked their ticket to the quarterfinals. And you get the feeling it may not end there. The recipe is working for this team, and I promise you no one's going to want to play them. Am I ruling out Valencia? Pretty much. They were a sieve defensively. And the boys from Bergamo were able to break it down. And keep in mind, arguably their best player, Duvan Zapata, did not start this game. They have so many good players, those wide guys. The difference between Liverpool is the wide players from Liverpool come out from the fullback positions. Not so much here with Atalanta. Gian Piero Gasperini, he is the new genius of world football. He has the 2 wide players in the midfield that kind of track back and help defensively. And they caused havoc against Los Che, who really laid an egg here and have to be kicking themselves. But maybe you can kick yourself all day, but you just ran into a team that is on a mission. And Atalanta will make a quarterfinal. Perhaps they'll go a little further than that. Atalanta, we would say, did well in their home leg, but remember, they're not playing at home. They're waiting for a new home. They went a couple hours away, maybe less. I went to Bergamo when I was in my modeling days, which is close to Milan. They played at the San Siro, had a good crowd. And Atalanta is taking care of business in the Serie A, so wherever this run ends, they'll probably be a Champions League team next year. It's remarkable. So definitely watch this Atalanta path, because I think at the end of it, whenever it ends, probably will end sooner than we would like, you would have benefited for being on that ride with this team. Finally, Spurs losing to Leipzig. Early indicators here that the German teams are going to excel, and they are going to be the flavor of this competition. We saw it with Dortmund. I think Bayern Munich's probably the favorite right now, especially with these other German teams faring so well. Leipzig won 1-0, should have won by more. I didn't know what the game plan was for Tottenham Hotspur. I know they have injuries, but a lot of teams, you're not going to get sympathy from Barcelona and other teams going, hey, we all have injuries. That's the name of the game. And Mourinho in the home leg just sat there and absorbed pressure. Leipzig coming in, they should have had 2 or 3 goals. Now they have to go on the road. I mean, I wouldn't rule against Mourinho and a Tottenham Hotspur that still have a lot of players that made a deep run to the final a year ago. But I think they're going to rue this. I think Mourinho brought in Ndombe and Patrick Lamela, and they changed things. And yes, they have injuries. But if you look at that roster that they had at their fingertips, it's a strong team. More talented than Leipzig. Leipzig just work really well and have my utmost respect for being a team. As you can see, I've said this whole time on Full Time, it's about the teams. The teams are where we are headed, away from the star and his team. It's the teams. And Leipzig are one of those, and maybe they can go on a deep run. But Tottenham Hotspur, no excuses with the injuries. I think they missed something there, but it's not really their year. It really isn't. All right, next week, the first leg continues. Tuesday, Chelsea and Bayern. I expect Bayern to make a statement. Napoli and Barcelona. Barcelona with their injuries as well. Maybe Napoli can sneak in there. I think they will complicate things. Lyon, Juventus. Juventus, I think, with Bayern right on that top line of favorites. Liverpool right behind them. And then Real Madrid, Manchester City. Manchester City dealing with the ban. I think they will rally around the ban. And Real Madrid, who've just not been consistent enough, I worry about them. So there you go. Make sure you subscribe to Full Time, my YouTube page, Max Prados, where you get all of this in front of the curtain.